Picture this moment carefully. A plow blade is inches away from slicing an infant in half. The man gripping the handles is not a lunatic or a butcher. He is a king. Odysseus drives the iron plow through the sand, screaming nonsense, eyes rolling back in his head, staging madness, so convincing that his own land is being destroyed beneath his feet. He yokes an ox and a donkey together, forcing their uneven strength to fight the soil while he sows salt into his own fields, deliberately poisoning the harvest. This is not insanity. It is desperation. Odysseus is trying to prove he has lost his mind, so he will not be taken to war. But the soldier watching him, Polymedes, is not convinced. Polymedes steps forward, snatches Odysseus's newborn son, Telemachus, from the nurse, and throws the child directly into the furrow, right into the path of the blade. The test is brutal and simple. If Odysseus is truly mad, he will keep plowing. If he is sane, he will stop. In a single heartbeat, Odysseus jerks the reins, swerving the plow just in time. The child is saved. The lie is exposed. The performance is over. Soldiers seize him. The draft has begun. And the real Odysseus is dragged away from the only life he ever wanted to protect. That single moment tells you everything. Forget marble statues and noble speeches. This is the story of a man willing to ruin his own kingdom just to avoid war. And he had every reason to be afraid. The year is roughly 1200 BC, and the world is collapsing. Historians call it the Bronze Age collapse. For the people living through it, it felt like the end of civilization itself. Egypt was weakening. The Hittite Empire was disintegrating. Mycenaean palaces were burning. Cities were being erased from Greece to Gaza. Mysterious invaders known as the Sea People scoured coastlines, leaving nothing but ash. Trade routes snapped. Famine spread. In this chaos, Odysseus was not a refined monarch lounging on a throne. Archaeology on Ithaca reveals a harsher truth. He was a chieftain, a warlord entrenched in stone fortifications, commanding fast red-painted galleys. His power did not come from divine right. It came from raiding, alliances, and survival. Calling him a hero using modern morals misses the point. Ancient texts call him polytropos, a man of many turns. This was not praise. It meant slippery, dangerous, willing to do whatever was necessary to keep breathing. The Trojan War was not a romantic crusade for Helen's honor. It was a predatory raid. Desperate Mycenaean warlords banded together to sack a wealthy rival before their own societies collapsed. Odysseus knew that leaving Ithaca undefended was a death sentence. The wolves would come for his wife and son the moment his sails vanished. Polymedes forced him onto the ship, but he made a fatal mistake. He created an enemy without rules. Odysseus boarded not as a glory-seeking warrior, but as a cornered animal sharpening the tools that would one day burn Troy to the ground. To understand that man on the beach, you have to look at his blood. Odysseus was not born from saints. His maternal grandfather, Autolycus, was infamous as the king of thieves, a master liar and shapeshifter. When the child was born, Autolycus named him, not with hope, but with prophecy. Since he had caused pain to many, the child would be called Odysseus, from a verb meaning to give and receive suffering. He was not destined to be loved. He was destined to endure. While heroes like Achilles trained raw strength, Odysseus mastered métis, cunning intelligence. The mind of the ambusher, the trapmaker, the octopus that changes color to survive. As a youth on Mount Parnassus, a boar gored him deeply in the thigh. The scar never healed. It taught him a permanent lesson. Nature is violent. You do not fight it fairly. You outthink it. At Troy, Odysseus was an anomaly. While others sought glory, he calculated logistics. When the time came, he destroyed Polymedes not with a sword, but with a lie, forging evidence of treason. Polymedes was stoned to death. Odysseus watched silently. The sun of suffering had arrived. The war dragged on for 10 years. Not constant combat, but stagnation. Disease, rot, boredom, despair. Achilles was a weapon, not a solution. And when Achilles died, The age of brute force died with him. The contest for Achilles' armor revealed everything. Ajax represented the old world: strength, honor, endurance. Odysseus represented the new: strategy, persuasion, control. The decision was made through debate, not combat. Odysseus won with words. Ajax broke, slaughtered livestock in madness, and fell on his own sword. Odysseus killed the greatest warrior left without lifting a blade. From that moment, the war had no limits. Torture, night raids, psychological warfare. When Troy's walls would not fall, Odysseus decided to open them from within. He conceived a weapon not of destruction, but deception. The Trojan horse was not a trick. It was religious terrorism, an offering designed to turn piety into poison. The Trojans, exhausted and desperate, brought it inside their walls. That night, there was no battle, only slaughter. Men were killed in their beds. Women were dragged into slavery. Temples were desecrated. Infants were thrown from walls. Victory was total and unforgivable. The gods took note. The journey home became punishment. The lotus offered oblivion. Odysseus refused and dragged his men back to the ships. At the Cyclops' cave, brute force failed. Language saved them. Nobody blinded the monster. But pride destroyed everything. Odysseus revealed his name. Poseidon heard. The curse was set. Circe stripped men of discipline and turned them into beasts. Odysseus resisted, then lingered too long. Then came the underworld. There, Achilles delivered the truth that shattered heroism forever. Better to live as a servant than rule among the dead. Odysseus chose life. The sirens tempted him with his own story. Scylla demanded sacrifice. 6 men died screaming his name. Trust was broken. Hunger drove the crew to slaughter sacred cattle. Zeus ended it with lightning. All died but one. Calypso offered immortality. Odysseus refused. Eternal life without home was a prison. When he returned to Ithaca, he returned as nobody. A beggar. Invisible. He watched. He endured. He saw his loyal dog Argos die, without recognition. The slaughter in the hall was not a battle. It was an execution. The suitors were exterminated. Even the servants were hanged. Order was restored through terror. Peace required divine intervention. And still, Odysseus left again. In old age, he died by a son he never knew, struck with a weapon born of the sea. He was not a saint. He was not a villain. He was a survivor. And that is why his story still haunts us.